सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So since yesterday evening we have been trying to understand the Swarupa of Ishvara, the unchanging Swarupa of Ishvara. The changing aspect, see, Ishvara is manifest as the Jagat. Whatever we see, whatever we experience is a manifestation of Ishvara. And the Swarupa of Ishvara is an unchanging, self-existent, self-evident, limitless reality. So there is only one reality. Its manifestation is in one way, and the being is very different from what is manifest. But the being can never be away from the manifestation, just like gold can never be away from its manifestation. So this means that when we try to understand, we have to understand at both levels. To live our life, is there a boom? Is it okay? If you are all okay, it's fine. So, Vyavahara means transaction, everyday, day-to-day living. See, people say, Swamiji, this is all fine, Vedanta is all fine. What about day-to-day living? Can we get Vedanta for day-to-day living? Hey, living is day-to-day anyway. Right? There is no special day-to-day Vedanta. Because Vedanta really is not transactional. Vedanta is cognitive. The idea is everything should be triggered by my understanding. In fact, the whole Veda is telling you what will be conducive to you, what will not be conducive to you. Even in the Karmakanda section, it is telling you what will help, what will cause you difficulty, what will help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. If you want to accomplish a desire, kama, go ahead, do this, it will help you. But it only tells you what to do. Shastra is Jnapakam. That word should be in mind. Means it makes you know. Natu karakam. It cannot make you do. No book can make you do anything. You can read the book, forget about it, and do what you like. No book can force you. Anything you do is something that you bought the idea. If you bought the idea only, you will do it. And having bought an idea, that will to do must be in your hand. Because even having bought many ideas over years, we find that we have not really done what we wanted to do. It's not uncommon at all. And it's becoming more and more common now. That the capacity to do, I think in our parents' generation, what I see is their capacity to make a will and carry it seems to be much, much higher than the capacity in our generation. I mean, they may not have been materially so, advanced. They may not have had all the gadgets, but with all the difficulties, once they made a choice, they would do it, and they would do it quite cheerfully. And that capacity, I think, we have been losing. And that's partly because we have gone from a duty-based society towards a right-based approach. But what I'm saying is the whole Shastra, whether it's Veda in the beginning portion or the Vedanta portion of it, the whole Shastra is only knowledge. It can never make me do anything unless I choose to do. The knowledge drives your understanding. And to do, as I said, requires you to do something. So Arjuna asked Krishna, even though, anichannapi varshneya, even though not wishing to do something, why does one do things which one should not do? And what's the answer? Kama yeshah krodha yeshah rajo guna samudbhavaha. It is desire. A compelling desire. And again, we should see these things are at two levels. That's why Shastra talks of manas and buddhi, two levels. One is the cognitive part, which may have recognized the value of something. But there is a second part which is emotional. And that fellow may not be in sync with your cognitive part. He has own. So it looks like there are two fellows inside. One fellow says, yes, we will do. Another fellow says, take it easy. So who wins? Take it easy wins, tends to win. And what does he say? You understand and you let the mind be governed by the buddhi. That's the solution being given by Acharya, by Krishna there. So you do it and then you understand. You basically understand that the objects are there. The indriyas are more stronger than the objects. And the manas is higher than the indriyas. Buddhi is next level after the manas. And then you have Atma. So you go all the way like that. So therefore in our Adhikaritvam also, you will see two parts. You will see Viveka Vairagya, which is cognitive, and you will see what? Shamadi Shatka Sampatti. Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. Why do you need these? If Viveka Vairagya is there in full measure? Because the emotional part does not necessarily go along with what you want to do. Buddhi-wise, you're okay. But pain comes from emotions. A lot of pain comes as emotional pain. And you don't know how to deal with it. So Pujya Swami would always say, see, I have been presenting Ishvara as what is Ishvara. Right? I said Ishvara is to be recognized as an order, which means there is a reason for everything and nothing is out of place. You don't blame the world, you don't blame yourself either. There is no blaming at all. Everything is in order. So another expression Swami would use is the infallible is Ishvara. Very, very beautiful expression. The infallible is Ishvara. What is infallible? That which is not wrong, which cannot go wrong. So he said, if I say Ishvara is infallible, then somebody has an opinion of Ishvara. Like someone told me that, I had some problem at home. We were all very religious family. We prayed so much, but still what we wanted didn't happen. We could not avoid the illness of a family member and the person passed away. After that, Swamiji, I can't pray to Ishvara. How come he didn't deliver the goods? I prayed, we all prayed, it didn't happen. Therefore, we have lost our trust in Ishvara. That day onwards, I stopped lighting the lamp to Ishvara. Because you didn't deliver. Anger. So now, as per them, Ishvara is fallible. You did your due, but Ishvara did not do his part. Because they have an expectation. When I ask, Ishvara should do. What's the relationship? Who is Ishvara? When you ask, he should do. If he doesn't do, what kind of Ishvara is he? See, somebody you ask every day, he doesn't help, he doesn't do anything for you. You accept him as it is. Somebody helps you or gives you whatever you ask every time. And one time if he doesn't give, you get very upset with him. that fellow doesn't give, we know. But you are not giving. This is even harder to swallow. So Ishvara becomes fallible. Therefore, Swami said, I don't like to say Ishvara is infallible. He flipped it and said, the infallible is Ishvara. See the brilliance there. Now you cannot say that something happens not. Whatever happens is Ishvara, it is right. It can't go wrong. Just by the flip of the expression. So this Ishvara is what is complete, the whole, perfect. And our whole life, the whole life of becoming, is a search for the infallible. Search for the infallible. Swamiji has his own, I have met several students of Swamiji who are psychologists, and they all say, nobody knows psychology like Swamiji. What does Swamiji say? He says when the child is in the womb, the child is totally secure, connected to the mother, totally secure. When it comes out, it is severed, the connection is severed. And the mother is Ishvara for the child. Because everything is mother. It looks up to the mother as Ishvara. It has to have total faith in the mother. If it doesn't trust the mother, it can't live. It will panic. So the human child is absolutely helpless. It cannot do anything on its own. Animals, normally they can live, They know how to run, they know how to run things. But a human child has to be helped at every step. So this total helplessness is compensated by giving the child a capacity to completely trust the caregiver. This is where the relationship begins. Then what happens? Slowly the child discovers that the mother, the parents, are not infallible, are not Bhagavan. This leads to a crisis of trust. Now, it has been used to a total trust, and it is trying to rediscover that trust. Parents don't fit in. After a while, it loses trust. Because when it asks mother for help, mother says, I can't help. Mother calls father. Father says, even I can't help. Then it says, mother, father are not Ishvara. They can't do much for me. Now, what shall it do? So it is trying to find the infallible. And it will never find the infallible in the Jagat. And therefore, when does this journey of the child end? When it discovers Ishvara as infallible. This is another way of putting Purushartha, that you have to rediscover your connection to the infallible. You are ever connected, but you don't think you're connected. You find your connection. In the meanwhile, what happens? There is emotional pain. In the child, there is reason for emotional pain. In every childhood, there are reasons, because how much our parents care, they don't know what the child needs. Right? The child has its own problems. And the child's mind is small. So Swamiji would say, nowadays you send the children to school at 2.5 years old, 2 years old, daycare. And Swami would say, when you send a child to school, who sent a child to school? The parents do so. When you send a child to school, the child apparently thinks, my God, my mother and father are angry with me. That's why they are banishing me. They are banishing me away. So it doesn't like to go. But if it resists going, God becomes angry. Mother becomes angry. Go. And if it comes back and cries, God becomes angry. So what does a child do? When it comes back, it learns, I don't want to lose my mother totally. All right, let me put up a front. Smile. Come back from daycare and smile so that mother will pick you up again. In the process, what happens? A lot of pain is just suppressed and it can't handle it. That goes into unconscious. And this unconscious drives the core behavior of the person. It's the core person. So, how do you solve all these problems? He says you have to reconnect to Ishvara. You have to settle these scores, you have to settle accounts with Ishvara. You can't settle accounts with whatever happened. So you have to recognize that whatever the feelings, many of the feelings that we have is a child's feeling. In Western psychology, they will do something like they will say adult-child dialogue. You're supposed to have, they say you do inner work. You talk to the own child, etc. So you can talk and say, you see the child in yourself and you say, you're okay now, you've grown up into an adult. But the fact is, there is pain in the child's mind. When there is pain, the child wants to control. Because nobody wants to be in pain. The child wants to control its environment. But it cannot control. When it cannot control, it resists. It resists the pain. Because of resistance, it tries to control. Control fails. More pain, resists more, again tries to control. And this is how we grow up. And that tendency continues as we grow up into adults. And that's emotional. It's not cognitive. Now, the cognitively you understand Ishvara. All this I'm connecting to what is the importance of understanding Ishvara as the infallible. So I understand that the pain that I feel many a time is in order. The attempt to control is also in order. But control I cannot. Therefore, cognitively I understand trying to control is okay because it's an old leftover. But what am I trying to control? I'm trying to control what is. I'm trying to control the order which is not in my hand. Facts are given and they cannot be changed. So, as you understand Ishvara, you naturally start letting go. This is Namaha. Namaha is letting go the tendency to control and the tendency to resist. And Swamiji would say there, even there, he will not say you give up the tendency to control. Because giving up means you are trying to control the tendency to control. See, you don't want control. That controlling the tendency to control also is not told. Things happen. You understand, and the more you understand, the more you're able to let Ishvara be. Means you're able to let the world be. You're able to let your mind be. So, the tendency to control is accepted. The anger is accepted. The resistance to facts is accepted. And when you accept the world, accept the facts, this pain reduces and the tendency to control also reduces. And what is relax? How do you relax in life? What is stress again? I said stress is resistance to a fact. Look at it slightly differently. Stress is inability to control. Relaxation is letting go the tendency to control. Planning is fine. Planning something is fine. Everyone can plan. But the anxiety that my plan may go wrong and I must not let it happen. This is how the world must be. That is a tendency to control and a very strong tendency. Some of us have it more strongly, some of us have it a little less. Type A personality means what? You want to have total control over everything around you. And therefore, you are seen professionally as somebody who is strong, etc. But internally, the anxiety is equally, strong. So, for inner growth, we don't want that anxiety because it is not in keeping with facts. Controlling is not in my hand. Ishvara is the order. Everything happens exactly as it should. My response is only in terms of what I can do. I am free to do anything that I can within my capacity. But to say this must be the outcome means I am now setting myself up for anxiety, setting up myself up for pain, because it won't be. And when it is not, again there is pain, I try to control. So the control and pain become a cycle. They will go round and round. How do you break that cycle? Is by recognizing, bringing in more Ishvara into your life. What is Ishvara? Order. What is order? Whatever is happening, whatever the facts are, they are all as they should be. So these steps, see, we don't have much time now, 2 days more. But I'm saying these things, if you understand, you bring them into your conscious mind. During meditation is a good time to make these suggestions to yourself. That what is in order. So I let go. At least for some time you let go. And then that can be extended further. But we cognitively at least get the idea that my troubles stem not because of what is, but my resistance to what is and my attempts to control the movements within what is. So this is all needed in Vyavahara. Because someone asked me, what do you mean by saying you can't bypass Ishvara? I'm just expanding on that a little more. You can't bypass because all these are there. You can sit and attend Vedanta class, but the emotions don't let you own it up. They'll make you cry. They'll make you feel insecure. Then what do? You say, I don't think Vedanta works. I want to let go Vedanta. That tendency will come. Because you start doubting. I seem to understand, but the pain doesn't go away. Like yesterday somebody said, if you cannot eliminate pain, then Vedanta is of no use. But you should understand what's the cause for pain. And you should understand, Vedanta is understanding what? That pain is also Satchidananda. The pain is not away from the limitless. Nothing is away from the limitless. Because you are the one who knows pain and wants to avoid pain also. So you are the same fellow. You saw the pain, you saw the last absence of pain. So you remain the same all the way. That is the real you, not the one who is like a yo-yo going up and down. That's not the real you. To understand that you is the whole purpose. But the steps are what? First step is to understand Ishvara. Because without an understanding of Ishvara, without the grace of Ishvara, one does not gain that mind which can be objective enough to understand Ishvara. No, but some people get it. They have done their homework in the past lives. We should keep that in mind. You compare and you see how that fellow gets it, this fellow gets it, how this person is enjoying life and is doing all corrupt things. All this is because you expect that right now you will see the outcome of everything. It's not true. You had some good karma, so you get a good situation, good start this life. Doesn't mean what you're doing now won't catch up with you. It will. Right? So Ramana got it without doing anything, so I will also get it without doing anything. If you are a Ramana, you will get it. No question about it. But if you are not, you better come down to earth. Flying high won't take you anywhere. So we always want to be exceptions sometimes, Another favorite thing is what? Shaktipat. You heard of that? What is that? You go to a guru and he will touch you and he will transfer the powers and you, lo behold, you will start, you will become, adhikari immediately. You will get everything. There are stories like this also. Not that it's an impossibility, But what we say is, even if there is a thing called Shaktipat, that will only bless you with a mind which is, that adhikaritvam you'll be blessed with. Finally, the understanding which will totally free you is only by your understanding what is being taught here. So Swamiji would joke and say, somebody did a lot of karma and they went to Brahmaloka. Right? And in Brahmaloka, they went to Brahmaji, and he is supposed to teach them what? For moksha, he is to teach them. He says, I'll teach you. What? Tattvamasi. The guy says, hey, this is what Swamiji told on earth. Yeah, why didn't you understand? So, poor fellow thought he'll have better access. Brahmaloka is also same. Anywhere you go, knowledge is the same. Why? And this knowledge cannot be improved upon. You should see this clearly. This knowledge cannot be improved upon. Because it is not, see, any knowledge you have, whether it's quantum physics, or whether it's, some chemistry, or biotech, or genetics, or computers, any knowledge can be improved upon. Why? Your mind is always having some limitation, and there could be a better mind. If you have one way of solving a problem, someone could come up with a better way of doing it. Right? So there is no end to improvement in any knowledge. You look at any field of knowledge, there can always be one more frontier you will cross. What is the knowledge we are talking about? We use the word knowledge, which is really not exactly how it should be understood. It's not one more piece of knowledge. Aham Brahmasmi is not one more piece of knowledge. What is it? It is just your reality. And what is the reality? The knower known is all within this reality. There is no movement, there is no change in the reality. The reality is always the same. How will it be improved upon? Improvement means it takes one person and some improvement to happen and action to improve. None of these are all duality. None of these is part of the knowledge that I am that changeless whole. I am the very adhishthanam for all the changes. That change, that if you understand, you tell me how you can improve upon that. Improvement means you already think there is something else which can be done better. That is an impossibility. You should see this clearly. Otherwise you will say, okay, Swamiji, Vedanta I got. Can I do better than moksha? Then you will get moksha from moksha. There is nothing else that can happen. So, but unless you see it, it's not possible. Swamiji, what about Vishishtadvaita, Dvaitadvaita, Buddhist philosophy, Nyaya, Vishesha? We hear of this, what? The 6 schools of Indian philosophy. You'll see a lot of books like that. What about all these now? Aren't they also correct? All philosophies are within the realm of the thinker thought. It's knowledge. Knowledge in a traditional way. And any knowledge can be improved upon. And knowledge may be proved wrong also. Many a time, what do you get a PhD for? You prove the previous PhD wrong. Correct? Previous fellow was wrong. You get a PhD. Means what? The previous fellow got a PhD for doing what? For saying something wrong. But when he said it, that was right. At his time, that was right. Nobody knew better. Then you know a little better. Then you know even further better. So knowledge is being improved upon. Now here, what do we do? What is our knowledge? The knower, trying to know Brahman, recognizes what? I am not the knower. I am not the knower. There is nothing to be known in that sense. The knower-known difference goes away. then what do you need to improve upon? Who has to improve upon? There is no karta, no doer, there is no experiencer. And which means there is no more scope for improvement because everything is included. Sarvam khalu idam brahma. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. All that is here is Ishvara. If this is your understanding, then even though you do, it's like an actor playing roles. Even though you play roles, you have no association with the role. Whatever happens in that role, you remain untouched. Untouched. Role can be improved, but you remain untouched. So the mind can always be improved, but the reality that you understand never ever can be improved. So, but the way is what? Ishvara is common to both sides. You have to understand Ishvara and Vyavahara as the order for you to grow reasonably. And I would say that is where the investment is needed generally. A lot of investment needed because what happens a lot of time Vedanta is we get carried away with the part after that. Because Upanishads begin after that. They don't begin with this. So now you are always arguing about Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira, Karana Sharira, Panchakosha. This is all your business. You read more and more books. What all have you finished? Have you finished 10 Upanishads or not? 1 done, 2 done, 3 done. Panchadashi, how many chapters have you finished? Tick. Keep ticking. And if you finish all of them, what do you do then? Then go for some other books. Minor Upanishads. Major Upanishads over? Now minor Upanishads. Does one more Upanishad help you? It may. I'm not saying it won't. But all I'm saying is every Upanishad reveals the same truth. What Kathopanishad reveals, alone Mundaka Upanishad reveals. What Mundaka reveals alone is what Taittiriya reveals. So, after studying one, do I need to study one more? If you ask that question, you need. Because if you understand, the question won't arise. A person who understands, for them the question does not arise anymore. Do I need to study? Bhagavad Gita is a great book to study because it covers the human growth at the level of the mind and also addresses the growth at an absolute level. No, in my view, there is no other book like that which covers the whole gamut. And interestingly, Bhagavad Gita does not delve into so many of the technical terms you see. You will not see this, Chidabhasa, you will not see this, Karana Sharira. All this you won't see much. It's there, but it doesn't stand out. Therefore, it's generally easier to follow also. So, just by the way, you should know, some of you may be new to this place. You should know. Pujya Swamiji's books and tapes are all available, books and classes are all available on an app called Teachings of Swami Dayananda. If you don't know, you should know. There's an app like that. And there are a lot of wonderful meditation recordings by Pujya Swamiji. Especially the one called Meditations on Ishvara. About 30 of them. They are worth their weight in gold. Very helpful if you want to follow and understand more. Something to be done. So this is I'm just trying to give you a total vision, going from this side to that side, all over I'm going, right? And this entire teaching, when we talk of, the waker, dreamer, sleeper, etc., you should know that the waker and waking world come and go together. Dreamer and dream world come and go together. Sleeper and sleepers, whatever world, come and go together. Right? Now, in these three, it is not that there are three different things. Really, all the three are in the waker. In the sense that a waker is one who is awake to the senses. A dreamer is one who is awake to the mind. And even when you are awake, wide awake, you are awake to your mind. And Karana is that which is the cause of both the mind and body, everything, the whole thing. Therefore, all three are available in the waking. So the Shastra, it tells you, it uses Om. I just thought I will cover, because Om is a very common word we all use and we don't necessarily understand it. So I thought I will cover that as well. So what is Om? If you look at it from purely a phonetic perspective, open your mouth and just produce a sound. Just open your mouth and produce. What sound will you produce? Can you produce anything else? Don't make a face. E, oo, you can do all that. Don't do that. Don't make a face. Close your mouth and produce sound. Try. Anybody, anywhere can make another sound? No. So now, A to Ma. What does it cover? It covers every sound a human vocal apparatus can produce. Between the two, what would be there? Open half. Oo. We take that. Could be anything. Oo is taken, okay? A, U, Ma. Stands for what? The whole range of sounds that a human vocal apparatus can produce. If you just said somebody may say it only acha, macha, Samasa, Akara and Makara. Now, U stands for Upalakshana, for everything in between. And therefore, A, U, Ma stands for what now? Phonetically, all sounds that a human vocal apparatus can produce. Now, what is anything I ask you to describe? What do you describe? Suppose I say describe this flower. You will describe it. It's a flower, it's white and it's got a stalk, whatever you say. Everything is words. Anything in the whole world is your knowledge of the world, correct? Is there a world other than your knowledge of the world? Your world is your knowledge of the world. My world is my knowledge of the world. And what is knowledge? Words, and more words. Is there any other knowledge? Can you think of knowledge without words? It's all words. All words are letters or sounds. Not only in Sanskrit, in any language. Therefore, now what does Om stand for? It stands for all words, therefore it stands for all knowledge. This is just phonetically. Stands for all knowledge. Etymologically, it means that which protects. Avati rakshati iti Om. That which protects is called Om. Now, we don't, you write A-U-M, A-U-Ma, okay? You don't say Aum, okay? If you say Aum, it's not right. I'm remembering a story of that Swami talks about it. I will say later maybe. So, you don't say Aum, you say Om, right? Om. And that O is 3 matras. Normally, matra means length. A is 1 length. A, 2 lengths. E, 2 lengths. A, 2 lengths. O, 2 lengths. Au, 2 lengths. Om, 3 lengths. 3 matras. So now, what is Om? That which protects. Avati rakshati iti Om. Now we come to how Shastra loads Om. Shastra doesn't just say Om and leave it. It overloads it. How? It says, the entire waker and waking world. See, for any knowledge you have a word. Entire waker and waking world, let us say it can be represented by A. A stands for what now? The whole waker and waking world. Ma stands for complete resolution of the waking world, which is sleep. And U stands for Ardha Vikasa, half awake. What is that? Dream or only mind. Now what does Om stand for? your entire world of experience is covered. Waking, dream and sleep. Or physical, sthula, sukshma, karana prapancha is covered by Om. Now you say Om, Om, Om. Where does Om come from and where does Om go to? Where does it arise from? Where does it resolve? You can see Om is coming and going. It comes out, it goes, comes, resolves. What is that? That is called, so these three, Om, the length says 3 matras, stands for the waking, dream and sleep. Or as I said, the total experience of sthula, sukshma and karana. And this, when you chant a series of Om, what is, when you are experiencing something, when you don't experience something, is you, the conscious being. That is called as though the fourth, amatra. It's called amatra. Now what happens? Om, the 3 matras, and they go and they resolve and they come from amatra. What does Om stand for now? That fourth, the gap, stands for the reality. And Om stands for the world which has no being outside of that reality. So this becomes now a tool, deliberately loaded. So if you say Om, Om, with the understanding of the whole Vedanta Shastra is said in Om. Because everything is included there. So, Pranavo Dhanu. Pranavaha is Dhanu. Dhanu means a bow. If you imagine you have a bow, and you place an arrow and you shoot an arrow. Where should it go? It strikes the target. What should happen? The arrow should become one with the target. That's what is piercing the target. Pranavo dhanuhu sharohyatma brahmatal lakshamuchyate. Mundakopanishad. The pranava is an arrow, is the bow. The arrow is you, Jiva. And the target is Brahman. This is an imagery, okay? You shoot. What happens? The bow, pranava, is capable of causing the target to merge, the arrow to merge with the target. But how should it be done? When you shoot an arrow, what should you done? You have to pull. You have to pull. That pulling is pulling your mind away from samsara. Making yourself, an adhikari. You pull. So it's there in that imagery. You pull back. And only when it's sufficiently pulled will the arrow have the momentum to strike and pierce the target. It's just an imagery, okay? But a beautiful imagery in the sense that it tells you that what you need is an understanding of Omkara. The entire Mandukya Upanishad is Om. That's what it is. And that Om is presented as a tool. So I'm just, as I said, because every day we say what? Om Ishaya Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya. What is Om now? Om stands for Ishvara. It's an Abhidhana. It's the name. So like this flower has a name. What would be the name for Brahman? That name is Om. And then what do you say? Om Shivaya Namaha. That Ishvara in one form. And you say, I give up my resistance. So this is how the Omkara is very, very useful for us if we understand it. Because everywhere you go, you'll hear this Om. You should know. And generally it is said, if you chant Om alone, it will give you a tendency to run away from whatever you're doing. It will give you more vairagyam. Therefore, it is better to chant Om with some addition. Unless you want to be taking sannyasa. Then you add something more to Om. All right? So this much I'm saying, I've tried to cover whatever I felt is very useful for us. But the most important thing you keep in mind is the first things, which is growing at a relative level. Because every day we have to use our choice. We have to make deliberate choices. And what does it mean? A choice not for Brahman right away, but to gain samatvam. The goal should be, am I getting perturbed? Is something making me go up and down? Examine what makes me go up and down. There will be some resistance to something, avoidance of some pain. What is the pain you are trying to avoid? You look at it. You look at it. And then you learn to accept that situation you are trying to avoid. With the understanding of Ishvara. Then what will it do? You are no longer because what have you concluded by study of the Shastra? That whatever you achieve in the world, the contentment which you are seeking is centered on yourself, not on things outside. You know this for a fact. Therefore, you know that anytime you get discontent because of something outside, it is purely because of non-understanding of your truth. With this fact known, if you examine anything you want, like let's say I want the company to be caring for its people. That's the way it should be. If that is your thinking, who gave you that responsibility? That you must care for all the people? Who gave you that responsibility? Nobody did. Do you have the capacity to enforce that? You don't. But what do you think in your mind? Somehow you have come up with this idea, and it's your favorite idea. It's your pet theme. What is it? It could be something else. Equal opportunity for both genders. It could be anything, okay? We have so many favorite themes. Right? A company should be environmentally conscious. We should not do anything outside of it. There should be home and work balance. Now L&T, is giving 1 day extra leave. So people have comments on that, right? 1 day leave, whatever. So you look it up. So the whole point I'm saying is that anything you do, people have some opinion on it. Right? Now, if that is your favorite theme, now without even thinking, you normally put all your efforts to make that theme happen in your capacity. And even if you made it, firstly, you can't change anything. Even if you manage to change it, what will happen after that? Will you sit satisfied? You will find the next one on your list to do. So suppose there are people who say this the political system is very bad. How much will you reform it? Who will reform it? So this is what I take it as. Krishna, at that time it was easy. Krishna said, Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. What is paradharma? You have a certain duty. Any other thing you try to do is not yours. So it's like saying, I am responsible for doing something in the ashram. Let's say you are the person who delivers vegetables here. And you decide now how should cooking be done. You don't go there, okay? You stick to the knitting. That's the language, If you see management books, they will tell you, stick to the knitting. Don't go here and there. So now what? You know what to do. You have a role. You do it well. If you have an interest outside of our area, see whether you have a role there. Otherwise, you will find the whole world you have agendas for. I want to change this, I want to change that, and this and that. And by the time you change all that, you will find you're 95. Then you will come to Vedanta and say, Swami, it's too late. It doesn't work that way. So we have to be alert to the fact, what is it that I am desiring? I have a desire that, the hospital should provide health care in a humane way, in a proper way. it should not all be corporatized. There should be dharma in healthcare. But you don't see it happening. It makes you angry because you went to a particular place to work because you expected that to be a value. But you find it is not the truth. Wherever you go, if it's corporate, means bottom line comes first. So what's a corporate hospital? Money is more important than healthcare, honestly. Because if they can't make money, they can't run the hospital. It's as simple as that. And you have value. It should be like this. It doesn't work like that. Education, in our culture, education should not be sold. That is our culture. Now, educations are run by charitable trusts. Do they charge or not? They will also charge. If they have to charge, because they run, and many times, I believe a trust has to run educational institution, but corporates back the trust by funding it. Finally, it comes one way or the other, it comes round, But now you have value, it shouldn't happen. I'm saying like this, you can have so many favorite causes. And there are always people who are looking for activists. And you join them. Now, you will find that all these will give you stress. And when you join a group like this, there are like-minded people. And all these like-minded people you'll all feel good together because you agree with each other. Right? You agree with each other wholeheartedly. Now you have a support group to keep samsara going. Because we all agree. And there is no one who says, what is the end of all this? Suppose you manage to do all this, what will you get from that? That question nobody will raise. In fact, if you try to get out of the group, they will not be happy. They will say, why are you leaving? You are a very valuable person in this group. We need you. That's what is likely to happen. You don't need much. You live in an apartment, there will be a resident welfare association. You join the association and you will always see enough things to be improved in the resident port. There is never an end. Where is time for Shravanam? Where is time to do anything else? Because your commitment is now to that. And you feel good also. There is a need for recognition. Now everybody in your apartment complex looks up to you. Because you are the secretary of the Resident Welfare Association. They look up to you, they talk to you. Now you are somebody, well known. Feels good or not? Would you like to give it up? No. Swamiji, I am doing reaching out action. I am doing social work. What is that? I am secretary of the Resident Welfare Association. Is that wrong? Can I say it's wrong? It's not wrong. But is that your priority in life? Examine. I'm not faulting anything, okay? I'm not saying don't do anything. But I'm just saying this is how we tend to get distracted. And then you study Vedanta and say, what is my Swakarma, Swamiji? You have to figure out what is your own dharma, your karma. Otherwise, you will find a lot of karma to do. You are working in an institution. You have your teaching, faculty position you have. Don't you have other things to do? Like, drawing up some policy or, join some committee to recommend some new course, syllabus. Do you feel good joining in or not? You should join in also. But keep in mind, each commitment takes your mind into one more area and one more area and one more area. So we can do all this, but it's helpful to have a boundary. Nitya karma. What is minimum you need for yourself, you keep that. And in the rest, you try to work saying, I will do what I can because I'm committing to a cause, but the outcome, I'm not accountable for. I will do my best. And again, I will reprogram myself. I will keep trying, but outcome is not in my hand. If we can have that freedom to freely do, no tendency to control, no attempt to resist a change which I don't like, then whether you get moksha or not, we will be happy. And that requires understanding of Ishvara. Ishvara is infallible. Ishvara is what is. Ishvara as the order that governs what is outside in the world and what is happening inside in your mind. At every level, we need to appreciate Ishvara. And if we can do so, you find yourself validated irrespective of how you feel emotionally. Emotion, by the way, is not a means of knowledge. When you feel, despite the knowledge you feel I am not okay, and Swamiji would be asked, Swamiji, after all the study for so many years, I still don't feel okay. And Swamiji would say, refuse to be bogged down by the emotion. Emotion is not the means of knowledge. Even a person who knows may have unconscious which will come and make him feel miserable sometimes. That doesn't mean you don't know. Because then what will they say? Swami, Vedanta doesn't work. Now what? Now I will do upasana. Action, karma. He wants karma phala now. The whole thing goes back. So understand that gaining emotional maturity, gaining a say over mind is useful from just Vyavahara perspective and also necessary for the pursuit of moksha. So I'm saying we won't be losers if we pursue that. But if you straight away try to short circuit that and say I'll only read and write and I'll know Vedanta, you will neither find yourself happy in the world nor will you get moksha. This is pitfalls, because seeing people over years, what happens, you can see that this is where people tend to go. Direction is like this. Swami, shall I quit my job and come? If Swami was asked, he would say, do your job. Should I get married or not, Swami? Of course you should get married. Because if you have a doubt, you err on the side of doing karma. Karma should drop off. You don't drop karma. Okay? So we will look into this Vishnu Purana hopefully from tomorrow. I think I have done enough work on what I have to do so far. Okay? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.